Today, Lantern Bible Study, second time, I want to read some of the names in the chapter 1. The first name we see is Elimelech. In Hebrew, it means God is my king, or my God is king. You know, when Jesus died on the cross, he said, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. My God, why have you forsaken me? So you know Eli, and Melech is the king, so my God is king. However, this name is ironic because it's the times when judges ruled. And we know that Judges chapter 21, 25 says, in those days, because there was no king in Israel, people did everything they saw fit. In other words, even though God is their king, they didn't treat God as their king. So this name Elimelech is the nominal faith. They don't treat God as their king, but the name is my God is king. So that's an irony. And his wife, Naomi, means joy. So when you say my pleasantness or pleasant one, if they become couple, husband and wife, we can say that when my God is the king, we have joy in my home. However, because it's nominal faith, they really do not have joy. They have to leave their hometown and they have to leave their town, Bethlehem, house of bread, because there was no bread. They had the famine. And then the children, they have two sons, Mahlon and Chilion. Now, Mahlon is from Hala, means weak and sick. So this name reflects foreshadowing since both sons died in Moab. Chilion is from root kala, meaning to perish. So he is destruction and wasting away. Again, the name hints at tragedy. So when you have a nominal faith in God, you your joy is getting weaker and it will go away. Actually, that's what happened. Those two sons died. And the daughters-in-law, Ruth and Orpha, Ruth means possibly friendship or companion. So symbolically, Ruth became the royal companion who refused to abandon Naomi. And some people even say that Roe could mean shepherd. So Ruth can be a shepherd, or we can say that the Lord is my shepherd. So Ruth can actually embodies the guidance of the Lord. And Ruth said, "Wherever you go, I will go." It sounds like God's covenant. And Orpha means neck or back of the neck. So possibly the one who show her neck, back of the neck. And she turns back to Moab, which again matches the symbolism of the name. And Mara, when Ruth came back, and she said that don't call me Naomi, call me Mara, means bitter. So she actually lost everything and become Mara. So if we see all those names in the book of Ruth, chapter 1, Elimelech, my God is king, that shows a nominal faith. And Naomi becomes Mara, bitter. Melon and Chilion, both sick and wasting away, they died. And Orpha turns back, but Ruth stays in covenant royalty. The names alone would say the message, but also we can see the structure of Ruth 1. We start with the famine in Bethlehem. So in the house of bread, there was no bread, and the family have to leave the land. And then the nominal faith, Elimelech, died. The sons also become Moabite people marrying Moabite women. And even that weak and sick future dies, death of Mahlon and Chilion, and Naomi left empty. And Naomi hears that the Lord has visited his people, so she come back to Judah. And Naomi urged the daughters-in-law to return, and Orpah returns, and Ruth clings to Naomi. That's the center of the structure. And Ruth's covenant speech corresponds to the Naomi's urges speech. And Naomi stop persuading Ruth is corresponding to journey begin toward to Judah. And arrival in Bethlehem uh, means is corresponding to Naomi's coming back to Bethlehem. And Naomi's lament, call me, corresponding to the death of Mahlon and Chilion. And Naomi's return with Ruth the Moabite, corresponding to the death of Elimelech, sons marry Moabite woman. And actually, beginning of barley harvest corresponding to the famine in Bethlehem. So in this chiastic structure, we can see that the deciding point is Ruth cling to Naomi. So as long as Ruth is with Naomi, things will uh, come back to life. That's what we see. So in Ruth chapter 1, we can see the message through the names. When people have nominal faith, even though the name means Elimelech, they don't accept God as their king. They lost their hometown, their bread, and their future sons. And in this desperate situation, even though it looks very dark, God shows mercy through a surprising person, a Moabite widow, Ruth, who stays with Naomi. So in this Lenten season, we can look around and see who is still with us. Let's not just cry over the people who are gone now, but pay attention to those people who are still with us. Sometimes God is coming to us through a surprising guest, or a foreigner, or a stranger, or people whom we do not have high respect. Maybe that's the channel of God's blessing. I hope we can find those people there and give God glory. Amen.